Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your continued support. I'm sorry the sound's a little bit off at the moment. My microphone seems to have gone a bit weird, so I'm going to try and get a new one of those, so sorry about that. But I wanted to talk about briefly the situation regarding the announcement yesterday, which of course is the PIP situation. So there's in the Independent, they've answered a couple of questions about what could be happening next, and I thought it would be a good thing to take you guys through if you have any of these questions that they might be able to answer. They've also somebody also asked me what my opinion is of the situation, and basically I think that there are perhaps a couple of good points, but most of it is bad, and I think it's good. The only good points are there if you're in that situation. So for example, if you have a lifelong condition that's not going to improve and you don't get reassessed anymore, then that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. However, that's only going to last probably until the next election, because if the Conservatives get in or if Reform gets in, that's probably going to change again. So you know, it's only as good as the length of the Parliament or whatever it is. But that is a good thing. I think also the one assessment could potentially be a good thing if they do it properly, if they make the assessments fair, if they make the assessments evidence-based, then I think it will work. If they don't, if the assessments are just going to be exactly the same, then it's not really going to help people. I mean, obviously, you know, you'll have one assessment instead of two, but it's not going to help people if they don't do it in the right way. The rest of it, I think, is a bad idea. I think, you know, restricting the awards in terms of the point system on PIP, that just makes people who are genuinely disabled even worse. It makes them even worse off. It means that a lot of people who are genuinely disabled are going to drop out of the system. It doesn't, you know, the level of fraud in the UK is very low in terms of the benefit system. And, you know, if they want to save money, there are other ways they could have done it. They didn't have to do it on this particular situation. And I think that, yes, you know, their argument is that a lot of young people are on benefits when they necessarily shouldn't be. But I think what that does then is that then cuts out a whole raft of people who, you know, there are going to be those among them who have got really serious mental health problems that are going to need support, and they might have just been arbitrarily cut from the system by one announcement. So I think that there are a lot of bad things in this, and I think that Stephen Timms has even expressed the situation. I think it was the day of the interview, where he said that he wouldn't rule out more changes in the future. He said you don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years. So if this doesn't work, they may even decide to do something else. So, you know, they're keeping us on this tightrope, if you know what I mean. You know, they're saying that this is going to happen. They're saying they're going to do this. But, you know, I think it's going to be very difficult for people to deal with these situations and to deal with the changing in circumstances and things like this. And I think it's going to be a very bad idea indeed. Will it work? You know, will it go through? I think there are going to be legal challenges to it. I think there are definitely going to be legal challenges to it, from just what the charities are saying. I think there's going to be people who are going to be looking to take this to court to try and find out if there's a way that they can overturn it. So I wouldn't say it's going to be set in stone yet. Obviously, we've got this 12-week consultation, but I don't think it's going to be set in stone. I think there may well be changes along the way. So if you are feeling down about the situation, what I would say is that you know, make sure that you try and stay as stable as you can. Try and think about it as the fact that this isn't set in stone yet. There are things that people can still do to try and change this, so we just have to keep our fingers crossed. No MPs resigned as a result of the announcement, and, you know, and there were lots of questions in the House of Commons about the situation, but no one took the decision to fall on their sword, which is what I expected, really. But anyway, let's look at this article, and it will take you through a few questions, and you can see what the situation is. This is the article. Someone did say that I was reading too quickly, so I'll try and slow it down the best I can. So 6 unknowns about Labour's benefit cuts and what could happen next. So we know about the government's pledge to cut £5 billion from the benefits system. What will the government's impact assessment reveal? Now, they haven't mentioned this before, but apparently there is one coming out. The Green Paper, a collection of proposed policies which will now put out a formal public consultation, was published on Tuesday without an accompanying impact assessment. The government's estimates of how many individuals will lose out from the changes and how much money will be cut per person will not be made public until next week. So that's going to come out next week, and that will be very telling, I think, what that impact assessment says. And I think there's going to be a lot of outcry, because I think it's going to be damning for the government, this impact assessment. While independent bodies such as the Institute of Fiscal Studies have made their own analysis, the Department for Work and Pension will be viewed as more authoritative because it has access to the most comprehensive set of data on existing claimants, and I think it's going to be damning. I really do. How much money is really being saved? Headline figure of 5 billion of annual savings by 2030 has been trumpeted by the government, but the details are not entirely clear. It appears that the savings are relative to the counterfactual position where the welfare budget continues to grow at its current rate, rather than referring to an actual reduction in the overall money spent on benefits. So that's when the OBR publishes its latest forecast on the economy and public finances next Wednesday, the full context will be revealed. Those figures will also show whether these welfare savings remove the need for other cuts to public spending, or just fill a gap in the Treasury's balance sheet that would otherwise have made the cuts even larger. When will MPs vote, and on what? The GWP has confirmed that the changes to personal independence payments, which make it harder to claim money for certain lower level disabilities, will be enshrined in new legislation and will therefore require a vote from the House of Commons and the House of Lords. So there are still stumbling blocks on here. Even if the House of Commons vote for it, the House of Lords might not. So there's still opportunities here for them to change and things to be taken out. That vote will take place sometime this year, but it is not known whether that will be in the next few weeks or much further down the line. May has been touted as a possible. Other parts of the reform package which are out for consultation may or may not require legislation, meaning it's not certain whether MPs will get any formal say on them. How big will the backlash be? Well, I think it's going to be big. I know that I don't really need to read it because I know that's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of backlash to it. I think a lot of charities are going to be watching this very carefully. I think there may well be some, especially when this impact assessment comes out. If the impact assessment is as damning as I think it will be, then I can see there may well be some challenges in court to it. But we'll have to wait and see on that. That'll be next week. Are there more benefit cuts to come? Speaking on Wednesday morning, DWP Minister Sir Stephen Timms refused to rule out coming back with further cuts or reforms in the future. With the UK economy flagging and public finances balanced on a knife edge, it is far from impossible that the government will seek to make more savings over the coming years, although I think that would be incredibly bad judgment. Will it work or not? And this is a telling part as well. The OBR has a track record of predicting significant savings from benefit reforms which do not end up materialising. The number of claims has almost continued to climb, regardless of attempts from successive claimants to bring it under control. I think that means successive governments. In addition, some disability charities warn that reducing the amount of money available will not encourage them into work, but the opposite, removing the safety net used to build a brighter future for themselves. And I think that's absolutely true, especially with PIP, because there are people, and I've seen articles about it, there are people out there who are working and receiving PIP, and they've said that basically if they don't have that safety net of PIP that helps them with certain things that they need to get to work, then they're going to be able to outwork. So this is actually going to be incredibly counterproductive for many people, and I think it's going to backfire on the government greatly. But let me know your thoughts on these questions down in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. Please do subscribe if you've got this far, because I do talk about this, and I'm going to be talking about this for some time, I imagine. And until the next time, I hope you are staying well, and I will see you then.